Good afternoon, everybody, and we welcome you to our continuing post-game press conferences. And joining us is Colorado School of Mines. I'm Jim Powers. Glad to have you with us. And first off, we'll start with their outstanding student athlete, Brendan Sullivan. And Brendan, first off, congratulations on a great season. I know this is not the ending that you and your guys wanted, but talk a little bit about the game. Talk a little bit about how things were going for you guys out on the floor today.
Well, we came out slow, and they came out hot. They hit, I think, 7 threes in the first half, and they shot over 50%. So we got behind, and in the second half we did our best to fight back, but we just got too far behind to do anything about it. And that team's really good, and they just outplayed us.
Talk about tempo. I know you guys like to slow the pace down just a little bit, but once Lincoln Memorial got into that track meet and got not, especially that 14-2 run in the first, what was the talk during the under 8 media timeout, trying to get the tempo back to what you guys wanted to do?
We were just talking about having good possessions and not turning it over, because that's where they were getting their shots. I think I only had 4 turnovers in the first half, but I think that was all in that run, and they got 8 to 10 points off of those turnovers. So that was kind of our focus, trying to slow it down, stop throwing it straight to them, and just try and get back to our pace, which we did a little bit better after that, but credit to them. They kept us running that track meet.
Talk about just the season in general, and I know we've had a chance to talk about this during our pre-tournament press conferences, but just talk about the season. Just talk about how great it is for you and your teammates to make this run and get to Evansville to participate in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I was just talking to Coach about it, and this time last year I was trying to find a park to shoot at. So it's just kind of been a blessing to be able to play all this year. And with everything going on, our team was able to get 21 games in, and that's just unbelievable considering all the circumstances. So I think that we're all just super appreciative of how much we were able to get done and how successful we were able to be throughout this crazy time.
Talk about the seniors on this team and what a great run you guys have had. Just talk about how great it is playing with those guys.
Yeah, so Michael Glenn, Austin Means, great big guys. I've had them since I got here 3 years ago. So they're just awesome. It's gonna be tough losing them, but we're looking forward to moving on. But those guys are awesome. They've held down the paint for 3 years for me, so it's hard. It's gonna be hard without them.
Awesome. Let's see. Do we have any questions for our outstanding student athlete, Brendan Sullivan? We'll give it a second here. All right, Brendan. Well, we have no other questions for you. Thank you so much for the time. Congratulations on an outstanding season, and we wish you the best of luck moving forward, especially in the next year.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Brendan Sullivan, a great student athlete from the Colorado School of Mines, and now we'll be joined by their head coach, Pryor Orser. And here comes Coach. Coach, how are you?
Good.
Opening comments, and then kind of talk about, how the game started. You were, went back and forth for a little bit, but then, Lincoln Memorial puts that 14-2 run together, and that's when it kind of got a little out of hand for you.
Well, I think, that they're, obviously first, congratulations to Lincoln. I mean, they're extraordinarily well coached, and they have really, really good players. And I mean, they just, their stats scream good or great when you look at those stats. So you go into the game thinking, if things don't go well for you, it could get bad in a hurry. And it kind of did there, because they put so much pressure on you offensively. They're such a good team. They have skilled players, they have shooters, and they have players who can pass it. And they have players that are willing passers. And then they have 2 really dominant players. I mean, they're big posts. He makes threes. He's versatile. He can pass it, and he can score inside. So from a physicality standpoint, I mean, he's dominating. And their 4 is really, really a hard matchup, because he can drive it, he can shoot it. He's a very, very good passer. And they have a great point guard as a Jet, so and he can go by you. So I mean, they're just really, really a good team. And the other thing that hurt us is we didn't make shots. I mean, we went 1 for 13 from 3. We had great looks. Now some of that has to do with them, even though we were wide open on maybe 12 of them, and some of them weren't even contested. It's just that they put so much pressure on you offensively. We're trying to work so hard to keep those guys in front and to take away things, and all of a sudden they're just so good. and they get you strung out, and then they beat you off the dribble, and then that has an effect on your offensive game.
And that's the one thing too, is it seemed like in the first half, especially, they were pushing you guys out beyond the 3-point line. They weren't letting you get the looks, and especially you've got a couple great bigs. They weren't letting those bigs do anything because the guards were just forcing everything out beyond the arc.
Right, exactly. And then so we were in a tough spot because we had to have our bigs to get catches, and we have to have our bigs to pass the ball because they were denying our wings. And so we were staying in what we called our 5-out look because we had to get catches. And all of a sudden, if we go 4 out, then they have superior athleticism. So it's just much harder to get catches. And then all of a sudden, we started doing it, but then we started to instead of passing, we were trying to go off the dribble more, and that was a death knell to us because they're just too good at athletes. We're not beating them off the dribble, and then when we start to dribble and pass, sometimes that's trouble for us. So, but I mean, they're just a great team. But I'm really proud of our team. I'm really proud of being here. It's really, really hard to get here. And obviously, when you get here, these teams are good. This 4-5 game is. We played in it 4 years ago. It's really a hard game because your 4 seed. There's always arguments your 4 seed could be the 2 or 3 seed, and you could probably make that argument with Lincoln this year. I mean, they have their top 7 are terrific.
The one thing that I'm going to say, and Coach Schertz mentioned this as well, you guys didn't quit. I mean, it could have easily, when it got out to 25, you guys could have rolled over, but it was so impressive to see your kids still competing to the final horn.
Yeah, that's part of our mantra here. We don't quit. They're Mines kids. So, and they're great guys. And that was always a theme in the huddle. Don't quit. Don't embarrass yourself. We're going to play to the end. And that's what they did. And I was really proud. We made a run there at the end and started making some shots. And when you make some shots, you play better defense. And and they raised up and shot them, but it was too little, too late. So
talk a little bit about this senior class, and it's just been an outstanding one for you guys. Just talk about those guys.
Well, obviously, Mike and Austin, they're the 2 seniors right now that are going to test the job market. And even though Austin didn't have a great game tonight, but he's had some great games, and we wouldn't be where we're at without those 2 guys. And Michael Glenn came in and started every game, and he's been great. His consistency as a competitor has been better every year. And then he tries, and I mean, he had some threes today. I mean, I'm sure if he wishes he could have had those back, but he's always competed. He's always trying. They're great guys. They're great human beings. They're great students. So I mean, they have a bright future ahead of them, both of them. And then the other ones, Titus and Kobe, those guys, right now those 2 are going to come back and play. They need it academically, and to graduate. So those guys are ballers, and and they're great to coach. And so I know the theme in the locker room was they're going to work. They want to do better next year. They want to continue the tradition. So it's obviously it's going to take a lot of work for them, but they can take a week or 2 off, but they have to go back to work.
I was just going to mention, you've got such a great young nucleus coming back next year, and you throw those 2 guys into the mix. You guys are going to be pretty good for the next few years.
Yeah, I think so. We have to figure some things out, but the guys have to put in our teams are built in spring, summer, fall. That's where we're at. We do it over time. So some games maybe we don't look great because of the stresses, the school, but over time we want to win a lot of games, and that's where we beat people. Sometimes we have games like this, like we played tonight. We couldn't make a shot. It was frustrating. We have those. We know we're going to have them here at Mines, but over the course of the season, we're going to win our fair share.
Outstanding, Coach. Thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on an outstanding season. It was fun watching you all play today, and I know we're going to see Colorado School of Mines back here, in the very near future.
Thank you, Jim.
No problem. The head coach for the Colorado School of Mines, Pryor Orser, joins us, and we want to thank you for tuning in to our post-game press conferences. We'll be back at you in a couple hours after our next matchup between West Texas A&M and Damon.